So we're going to be looking today at the nutrition section of the learner guide. Obviously, this is massively, massively important. So when we scroll down to the nutrition section, the first few pages are some general nutrition info. You've got the nutrition pyramid here. Read this if you want. See, to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. It just gives you a bit more understanding about what we're doing. But see, to be honest, as long as you are following the plan, you don't really need to know this stuff that much. You'll learn it as we go. At this stage, read it if you want, but I wouldn't get too bogged down in it. So when you come to this bit here, right, just to be totally clear, no matter what your experience with the gym is, you are doing the beginner diet plan. You're doing the beginner diet plan. And with this, right, 3 golden rules, right? Every single meal you have, the way you should structure it is a protein source, which is what you're doing for your food prep, vegetables with your lunch and dinner, and carbs with every meal. Now, the amount of carbs that you have will vary depending on the type of carbohydrate source, and I'll show you that as well. So protein is your food prep, vegetables is whatever kind of veg you want, and then carbohydrate portions, it tells you here. Okay, so different types of carb source have slightly different calories in them, so the amount that you can have varies depending on your body weight. So if you're 60 to 70 kilos, this is the amount you're having for each carb source. If you're over 80 kilos, this is the amount you're having for each carb source. Okay, so it's relatively simple. Things like pasta have got more calories than rice, for example, so you can have more rice or you can have more potatoes than you could pasta. To be honest, whatever one you choose, it doesn't really matter. Just choose what you want and make sure you stick to the correct portion size for your body weight, because that basically works out. That's how we regulate the calories and make sure the calories are correct for your body weight. Okay. Now, in the first week, we're going to tell you exactly what to eat. We would recommend sticking to this part to the letter in week 1. The plan's not a restrictive plan, but the reason we're saying stick it to the letter in week 1 and have these meals that we suggest in here for week 1 is it just gets you up to speed with things, and it makes it really, really simple. We don't want you to have too many options for it to get confused. We want things to be clear and simple. So we'll tell you exactly what to do. So breakfast in week 1, 3 options. Each is a protein-based breakfast. Scrambled eggs on toast. Protein porridge, for that you'll need whey protein. Or a total yogurt smoothie, which you'll need a blender for. So one of these 3 options for breakfast, dead simple. You can vary them, you can have a different thing on each day if you want, or you can stick to the same thing. A lot of guys just like to, creatures of habit, like to stick to the same thing each day, which is totally, totally fine. I have protein porridge every single morning in life, whereas other guys like to chop and change it, okay? So your lunches and dinners in week 1, this is what you're doing for food prep. Now, a common question is, can I get away with losing weight without doing food prep? Yeah, of course you can in theory, okay, but here's where it makes a big difference. Is if you have to think about what you're eating every day, the chances of you going off track are higher. Whereas if everything's already prepped, then all you need to do is reheat it and eat it. Okay, so dead simple. So lunches and dinners in week 1 are your food prep. Now, a lot of guys don't know how to cook, or they haven't had much experience of cooking. See, what I would say to you is it is insanely simple. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So there's a big button here that said Food Prep 101. Food Prep 101, sorry. If I click on that, it takes you through to a video of me talking you through how to cook 2 meals at once. And what you'll find with every meal is they all follow the same pattern. You put a bunch of veg in, you put some meat in, you put some spices in, you put some liquid in. That's pretty much it. So that talks you through. That's how we walk through. So, sorry, back down to the interesting section. So, you've got 3 meals to cook here. I would recommend prepping 2 of the meals on a Sunday to be ready for the week ahead, and then prepping the other meal towards the end of the week, let's say on a Wednesday or a Thursday, to last you through the weekend. I probably wouldn't prep all 3 meals in one go. First of all, it's quite stressful. Secondly, there's a good chance that by the end of the week the food will have gone a wee bit off and it won't taste as fresh and it won't taste as good. So 2 meals on the weekend, 1 meal midweek to last you through to the weekend. So this basically shows you what your diet's going to look like in week 1. So breakfast, scrambled egg, chili with whatever carb sauce you're choosing, so 2 pita breads and broccoli. You'll have a snack before you train. This is assuming you're training at night, which is like a banana, a piece of fruit, or something like that. You have a dinner, again, your meal prep, and then there's a link to a 100-calorie snack as well, which will be included in one of these emails. Okay, so we've got a shopping list for week 1. This keeps it dead simple. This is everything you need for those 3 meals. Then when you go down, you've got the 3 meals: chili con carne, chicken casserole, beef and apricot tagine. They're all dead simple. They all follow the same pattern. You need 1 pan for each of them. And as much as it looks a lot on paper, see, once you get into it, the feedback we always get is that was so much simpler than I thought it was going to be. So that's for week 1. Just to get you up to speed, follow this to the letter. Now, obviously, we don't expect you to stick to the same things every single week. So next thing comes up saying what to eat after the first week. If you click on this button, it takes you through to a link for the recipe book. There's about 34, I think it's about 30 recipes in there. We'll give you more recipes as we go. And then there's also the breakfast recipe book as well, which is a few different high protein options for breakfast. So you can chop and change things after week 1. Still sticking to the same pattern. Prep 2 things at the weekend, prep 1 thing on a Wednesday or a Thursday to last you through the following weekend. And this shows you exactly what your daily diet will look like if you're training in the morning. The only difference when you're training in the morning and the evening is when you have your pre-training snack and when you have your breakfast and stuff like that. So, for example, if you're training in the morning, I wouldn't have a big breakfast first. I would have a piece of fruit and like a protein-based snack before that. And then anything out of the breakfast ebook for your actual breakfast after that. And then day goes like that. Whereas in the evening, the only difference is you're eating your pre-workout snack before you train in the evening, and then you're having your dinner when you go home, for example. Okay, so you're just adjusting it a wee bit. But that's what your days will look like once you get the first week out of the way and you're up to speed. For snacks, you'll notice it says in here protein-based snacks. So you've got different protein-based snacks that we would recommend. Protein bars, protein ice cream, packets of meat, all these kind of things, protein yogurts, and then your fruit options as well. It's pretty self-explanatory. A wee section here just talks you through what to eat before and after you train. To give you a summary of it, you don't want to be having a big meal before you train. You want to have something light and sugary to get your sugar levels up. Then after you've finished training, that's when you want to have another full meal, be that your breakfast or your dinner. There's a wee section here that talks you through the weekends, what to do at the weekends. Generally speaking, the ideal thing is if you stick to the plan over the weekends. However, we're not unrealistic, and we understand that's not going to happen. Life will come up. You might have like nights out, meals out coming up and all this kind of stuff, which is fine. This basically talks you through different options, different ways to deal with the weekends. We've got an eating on the go guide, which talks you through that. And this is just different ways things can look. You could cook other meals that are a wee bit off the plan, for example. But that's everything you need to know for the diet side of things. If you want to get the best results from this, stick to the plan, follow the plan to the letter.